Good morning, my loves. I'm hoping I'm live. My internet has been quite busy today. The screen's done its jumpy thing and it's saying I'm live. Yay! Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to day one of the 4-day challenge. As always, tea, notes, um, frog in throat. That's a good start, isn't it? Anyway, good morning. I am hoping that the rain holds off just for half an hour that I am with you, because as you can see, my office is a conservatory, and with rain comes noise. But if it gets really loud, we'll just go for a walk around my house until I'm in my dining room. So, this morning, day one, the truth. Why you started masking and how it is draining your confidence. Um, Throughout the next 4 days of Unmasking Your Neurospicy, you're actually, it's asking me to close other applications. It's probably my internet. Let's hope I don't close you by accident. We'll soon find out if I'm all glitching, if I need to redo this. But yes, so over the next 4 days, we are unmasking your neurospicy. We're diving into the truth, we're diving into the framework, and then we are diving into the freedom. And I'm going to keep on harping on about it. There is a masterclass on Thursday night. It's just 1 hour. So for those of you that haven't joined the 4-day challenge, you're more than welcome to come onto the masterclass. It's open for everybody, and it will pull these 4 days together, and then I bring in more woo. I dive into human design, I dive into the 5 types of human design, I explain what those 5 types are and how you are possibly and probably not using your energy in a way that is designed to support you correctly. So we're going to get some more information, but that you can go off and implement immediately. So I'm celebrating. I was just looking at my list, like the 50 odd of you that have joined for this challenge, because this is where it begins. When you say yes to yourself, even though you know it's going to feel raw, it's going to be real, it's probably going to feel a bit close, and you just are a bit like, oh, I don't want to go there, but you're ready because you said yes. And it takes a lot of courage just to even acknowledge that you feel that you have got something going on that you're not happy with and that you're ready to get sorted and shift and change. So I just want to give you all a high five. But when we understand why we started masking, we're able to stop blaming ourselves for the way we show up, the way we overthink, the decisions that we make, the reactions that we have, how we might not understand, our perception of things might be different to other people's. So basically, just view these next 4 days as me going, here, have a permission slip to be able to just be really, really gentle with yourself and acknowledge yourself and give yourself a high five. We're going to start changing the dialogue of how we speak to ourselves from one of self judgment and criticism to love and compassion. So let's get started. Day one, shall we? Masking didn't just appear one day, didn't just wake up one morning and say, today I'm going to put a mask on, I'm going to pretend to be someone else. The other day I was watching the Victoria Beckham 3-part series on Netflix, and she spoke into how when she played with clothes, when she designed what she was wearing, she felt she could be someone else. But also, the big part of her story is she was bullied when she was at school. So she was using her clothing line, her dressing up, her experimenting with what she was wearing as a mask. But she was able to understand why. So this is what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be diving into why, because the mask is something that you have learned over years, piece by piece by piece. As a child, you were maybe told to tone it down. As a child, you may have been told to be seen and not heard, to be quiet. Why are you reacting that way? What is your problem? Can't you just do this? Can't you be like your big sister? Can't you be like your brother? Why can't you be more like so and so down the road? We've all had it at some point. As a teenager, you will have learned that being too much meant being left out. Now, going back, this is a massive, and I spoke about this quite a lot in my 5 lives last week. This is survival. If you are left out, going back hundreds of thousands of years, if you are left out, that means death. And we still carry that forwards with us now. Like if you see something, you gasp and you cover your mouth. That is from hundreds of thousands of years ago, that you're holding your breath and you're covering your face so that whatever the danger is can't hear or smell you. It's wiring in our brain that we have no control over at all. That's why we go, or, and we do these things. Again, so just even those 2 examples, it's part of your wiring as a human being. There is nothing to beat yourself up over. It's another permission slip. It's a piece of understanding. You go, okay. So for teenagers, and especially for us girls, I look at my sons and I look at my daughter. I look at myself in hindsight. I knew very, very early on, although I didn't understand why, that I didn't get it when people made jokes. I didn't understand what the joke was. I recognised that my reactions were not the same as the collective group. As I moved into secondary school, I was excluded for weeks at a time, for years, from a group, and I didn't understand why. And that exclusion, it is terrifying, but it is also due to our wiring from hundreds of thousands of years ago. It's a survival mechanism. So now we have all of that from our childhood and our teenage years. Now as an adult, we learn and we're taught, but we believe that being agreeable is what keeps the peace. To have an opinion that is different from someone else's or the collective causes that, all eyes on you. What do you mean you don't agree? And that in itself, again, causes more of this inner conflict going on. Each one of these moments is recorded in your subconscious. Our brain is Google, but it only has the information that we have put in. So if we don't put in enough information or different information, it can only react to what is stored in its library. A really sort of strong example is this is why women will continue to go back to abusive relationships, because it's known. Even though it's not safe, there is safety as far as brain wiring is concerned. There is safety in the known. This is why people repeat the same thing over and again. There isn't any information in our library, in our Google, that tells us of different options or availabilities. There's no evidence to stack to change the neuro pathway. This is why when we do or say something, we're like, why did I do that? What did I say that for? And like I shared with last week with the Libet's experiment, we're having this information come in and it's going from our reptilian complex, and it takes over half a second to get into our conscious awareness. Now you're going to say, Tash, it's half a second. Okay, but if I throw a ball up in your face, your hands are going to go up, and that is in less than half a second. It's a reaction, and that's what we're working with. The brain is reacting. It's going safe, not safe, safe, not safe. So we have to input new information so that we are able to change our decisions. Change the decisions around people pleasing, overgiving, overperforming, having no boundaries, being doormats, whatever it looks like for you. So in my family, I was the good girl out of my sister and I was the quiet one. I was the one that got into German Shepherds. My mum's she was one of the top UK breeders of German Shepherds. For me to, I felt, have a relationship with my mum, I needed to do what she did so that we had that thing in common. So I blended to fit in. Don't get me wrong, I've got two of the hairy beasts. I absolutely adore them. But I felt, if I do this, mum will like me. I think we've all been there, we've all done something. If I make the coffee, if I do the dishwasher, and this is outside of, chores that you might have as a teenager, if I, because you're looking for that reception to come back. So my sister was the polarity. She was the black sheep. She was the loud one. She was the argumentative one. She was the one that always had the problems. We were chalk and cheese as we grew up, because we are dealing with the information in the brain. The information I have in my brain is different to the information that my sister has in hers, and so our reactions to things are even still now quite different. In some ways 100% the same, but in other ways polarities. It's like one extreme to the other. So you didn't choose your mask, your nervous system did, because everything you did kept you safe. So your nervous system is like, no, we don't do that, we do this. And then your brain is sitting saying, I'll keep you safe however I can. Again, due to the information that we have put in it. So like I said, we have Benjamin Libet, who created that experiment that I was just talking about, of it coming from here to here. So the experiment is, there's a clock face. One hand, 12 numbers around the clock face, and the instructions were linked up to an ECG so that they can monitor the brain activity. The instruction was very simple: hit the button whenever you feel like. Pick a number, hit the button. And it was that experiment that continued over and over and over and over and over again, even to the point where Stephen Hawking Stephen Hawking tried to disprove it and couldn't. The experiment showed we don't have free will, because the brain activity started. The ECG showed time and again on thousands of people, on thousands of experiments, brain activity started before conscious awareness of, I'm going to hit the button now. The brain had already started working. Got no conscious awareness of it. So as a spiritual person, when somebody turns around and says to me, you actually don't have free will, I'm like, even now, and I've been doing the neuroscience work for 4 years now, and I'm like, doesn't sit well with me. We're human. No human likes to be told you don't have free will. But when you understand the brain on a robotic, mechanical, computer software level, and take out the spirit, the personality, and you literally just viewing it as a computer, now I can get behind it. I don't like it, but I can get behind it. So let me check my notes. So we're now understanding why we are deciding to shrink, why we're deciding to overperform, why we're deciding to overdeliver. Now we're understanding why we're deciding to fit in. Safety, survival, living, no rejection, no being outcast, no being killed by saber-toothed tiger because we're now out in the wilderness on our own. So when you think Why do I still do this? Why do I react this way? Please remember that I've just spent the last 15 minutes giving you a permission slip and neuroscience explanation as to why it's not your fault, it is not a weakness, it is programming. And over the next 4 days, we're going to add new programs into the computer. And then your brain has more decisions or more options, so you can make different decisions. So now let's just dive a bit more into the energetics of everything. The cost of the mask. And it is costing you more than you realise. We all have this melting into the sofa. Nobody had better touch that TV remote as you are binge watching Netflix. Godspeed to the person that turns on the big light. Kids, I don't remember, do I have children and who's doing dinner? Like, we've all had those burnout days where we are so fried that we just literally cannot cope with anything else other than moving a thumb on the remote for the Netflix. And then we sit there and just think, it's okay, I'll go to sleep. My brain will reset. I personally know that if I have had a meltdown, I need to sleep. It will reset my brain and I will be absolutely fine. The problem comes when you get up and do the same thing over and again and over and again and over and again. And every time you override your truth, every time you override your knowing, your gnosis, your desires, your wants, which are all valid, you have them for a reason. Your body is learning. Your voice isn't safe. Your decisions aren't safe. I'm not safe. You are disconnected from your intuition and your confidence therefore crumbles. Because you're constantly showing up how everybody else needs you to show up, how you feel you need to be, where do you get to shine? Where do you get to come out? Where do you get to, maybe knock my coffee over then, where do you get to just be? So now there's no safety, there's no self-trust, your body doesn't trust you, your mind doesn't trust you, and if you're honest, you don't even trust yourself. So now you're exhausted, you're second guessing everything, you're lying awake, churning all those conversations. Did I say this right? Could have done a bit more. Listen, we all do this. I said last week I had a big meeting on Wednesday last week. That's why the live was done at 12:30 instead of 10 o'clock. I got in the car and went, I needed to have elaborated. I should have shared more stories. I could have done this. It's done. It is what it is. But, so we all do it, but it's the level that we do it at. And don't get me wrong, I ruminated over what I should have, could have, would have done. Probably for the rest of the day, maybe a little bit into the next day as well. We're human. We're neurodiverse. We're never going to not be neurodiverse, and our reactions to things are, to a certain degree, never not going to be there. The severity of them is though. So just to clarify, it's not your fault you started masking. We now understand why. But it is your job and your responsibility to start to unmask, because your freedom lives on the other side of the awareness. I'm going to say that again. Your freedom lives on the other side of your awareness. So now we're going to get self-aware and we're going to start diving in. So let's start using what I call the Traceback Tool. Archie was saying the other day, oh mummy, it's a bit like the way back, in Peabody and Sherman. Not to where, but to when. I think that's what they say. Not where are we going, when are we going, where they go back in time. So we're going to use the Traceback Tool, or the way back, whatever you want to call it, so that we can actually start to track, to understand and pull together the decisions that you have in your mind and how they got there, and then how we're going to choose differently. So just feel into what is your biggest trigger, what upsets you more, what stresses you more, what makes you give more, what makes you people please more. Just nail down that one trigger. And now, and I'm going to caveat before I continue, we do not judge what comes to the forefront of our mind. That is our subconscious's way of saying you need to deal with this first. So no judgment, no poo-pooing, no thinking, oh, you know, that's your ego. Please just trust me. First thing that comes forward, use that. If something bigger that gives you more of a reaction comes forward, then use that one. But in the interim, just to keep it simple, first thing that comes forward, no self-judgment, no criticizing. And this is what I say to all of my clients. However many children you have, even if you don't have any and you've got nephews and nieces or godchildren or whatever, or if you've got one, if you've got 10, you've now got one more, and that is your inner child. So I want you to start speaking to yourself as you would that child. You would not chastise, you would not belittle, you would not judge, you would not poo-poo something that came out of a child's mouth. So now you're going to stop doing it to yourself. Okay? So now that you have your trigger, we're tracing back. When did I first learn I had to do this to be safe or to be loved? When did I learn that I had to first do this to be safe or to be loved? And now I want you just to sort of use that memory. I want to ask you, how old are you? If you are older than 7, is there a worse memory that happened before? It doesn't even have to be worse. It doesn't even have to be something horrific. I've worked with clients who range from very affluent families that had an amazing upbringing and they think that the sun shines out of their parents' derriere and they walk on silk and gold. I've also worked with clients that have been in foster care and adoption. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a worse memory. But if the memory that you had is post 7, and I'm talking like teenage, 10 years old to teenagers, is there another memory that springs forward that puts you a bit more between 0 and 7 to 8? Try and find that one. If not, don't worry, it doesn't matter. Like I say, use the one that you have. So with that memory now you have got your trigger, you have got your memory. From the memory, we want to ascertain how old you are. Who is in that memory? Try and play it like a video in your mind. Who is in that memory? What was said? It doesn't have to be exact and along the lines of, but the biggest thing that we need to uncover here is, what was the belief that I formed based on that interaction? So I always use an example of somebody, adult, having a fear of speaking. When they trace it back, it might have been that there was a party and the mum looked really, really pretty and the child wanted to go and tell the mum how pretty she looked. She didn't understand that at that particular point her mum was talking to someone, so when she tugged on her dress to say, "Mummy, you look beautiful," and mum went, "Shush, don't interrupt," that then caused it's not safe to speak. And it can be just as simple as that. So we need to understand who said what and what the belief was that you then formed based on that. Now, I want you to ask yourself, now you have your belief, is it true now? belief you formed, i.e., it's not safe to speak. Now I'm 44. Is that true now? If you come up with yes to that answer, please DM me. We will pull it apart, because the answer should be no. It's not true now. What has happened is our ego, trying to protect us, is sneaky. It will twist and it will turn things as we get older and can understand etiquette, social standing, social rules, whatever. So now as an adult, you would turn around and go, well, I was rude, I did interrupt. Okay, cool. Did that little version of you understand that at that point? And it's that little version of you that is running the show, which is why you don't feel it's safe to speak and have your opinions heard, or share what you can see. Tell people an easier way of doing things for fear of being chastised. So if your answer to that is yes, please DM me, because we need to pull that apart. So now we create and start putting into the programming the reframe. What is actually true for me now? Reframe it. It is safe for me to speak, for my opinions to be heard. My opinions matter. My voice matters. I have wisdom to share on whatever it is your wisdom is on. You haven't been on this planet for as long as you have, and have the lived experience that you do have for your opinion and your wisdom and your knowledge to be irrelevant. Call in BS if you believe that. And again, please DM me if you feel differently. Okay, and now that we have inputted the reframe, which I would invite you to stick on a post-it note and put everywhere, because we can now turn that into a mantra. Now we understand there's no point in just thinking you're just going to mantra a new thing. I am worthy. Okay, if you don't believe you are worthy, watch the universe show you why you're not worthy. We have to understand why we are feeling the way that we feel. We have to really get in there and shine a light. And like I say, it can be something as, and I'm not belittling it, but in the grand scheme of things, it can be something as small as Mum telling you to not interrupt when you wanted to tell her how pretty she looked in her dress. Our ego is making it, I can't speak, I can't go on stage. What happens if they reject me and I can't share my opinion? Who am I? And it's really, really big. But when we go in, this is the shadow work. When we go in, we're alchemizing the shadow. When we go in with our torchlight, actually, in comparison to what we believe to be true, because our ego is trying to keep us safe. And again, not belittling it, but it's actually quite small. And then you can just show compassion to that age of you. And you could speak to that part of you inside and say, I get it. You just wanted to tell Mum how pretty she looked. Oh, we made a mistake. We interrupted. We shouldn't have done that, but you still get to say it. Do you see? How would you talk to a child? How would you get them to understand? How would you get them to feel safe about speaking? This is what we have to do with ourselves. So now you create your reframe. It's safe for me to speak. I'm just using this as an example, but it is safe for me to speak. It is safe for me to be heard. My wisdom does matter. My lived experience matters. I can help with this. Now we input that. Now we have new choices, new patterns. We put new information into the program. So I just want to show you my very bad drink. Can you see that? So if you're a person like me where you need to put pen to paper and you're struggling with how I've just showed you, I had a couple of people last week message me and say, Tash, I'm struggling to trace back. Okay, so another way to do it, get your pen and paper, get your trigger, the thing that's upset you, the thing that causes you stress, like narrow it down. I feel Now create grids on a page, and you're going to start with the age that you are now and take it down to the next 0 or 5. So I'm 44, so we've got 44 to 40. 40 to 35, 35 to 30, 30 to 25, so on and so forth. And then in each of those, you're just going to write a small example, because you know what you're talking about when your fear showed up. Now, you might not fill in every single box in here, and that's okay. But if you can go back as far as you can between 5 and 0, that one's always going to be the hardest, because I actually remember quite a lot from when I was 2 or 3, but the brain can't actually store memories consciously around this age. But if you can get between 10 to 5, and if you could find something between 5 to 10, those are the ones that you want to work with. Those are the memories that you want to work with. So just write examples down of my fear of speaking. I have this example, I have this example, I have this, and just use the biggest one that gives you the biggest bodily reaction. Just jot it down and work your way back. And like I say, when you get to the 10 to 0 boxes, those are the ones, those are the memories that you're going to then want to go in, understand, is it true now, what is the fear, do the reframe work, and maybe stick that on some post-its so that you are constantly reminding yourself of those patterns, so that you are able to keep loading this computer with the new reframe, with the new belief, now that you have the understanding of where it comes from. Also, what you will find is once you've uncovered it, it won't hold the power over you anymore. It can be as simple as that. It can just be gaining the awareness is enough. And if it wasn't like a capital T trauma, it can just be enough. You can just sit there and go, oh, okay, that's why I feel like that. I won't do that anymore. It can be as simple as that. Sometimes we do need to go deeper. Sometimes we do need to do some BWRT and do some neuro rewiring, or we need to do some experiential healing and releasing somatically. It depends on what it is. And the one thing that I have found with us Neurospices is, myself included in this, when we have the logical understanding, we think the job is done. I'm going to say it's 50-50. Sometimes that is enough, more than enough, to understand where it comes from. Sometimes we do need to do more work, and we will continue that, but it is the embodiment and the integration of the new that is paramount. Integrating it into the computer, integrating it into the library, integrating it into the body. So today, now that we've done the traceback work, we've got the memory, we've made it feel safer, now we're creating that self-trust. And trust me when I tell you, your body is aware that you are going in, that you are acknowledging, and you are willing to try and do stuff. So all of this cultivates safety within your body, safety within your mind. You know that you feel safe. You know what it feels like to feel unsafe. Now you're going to start feeling safe, and that will cause self-trust. Right. Let me just double check my notes, because we are up to about half an hour-ish now. So just trusting everything that comes up and using some reflection prompts, if they help, of what belief did that moment plant in you? Still using the is it true now? And then create a truth that feels more aligned. And that must be based on, you can't just go and take someone else's or pluck something out of thin air. It has to be based on you, on your lived experience, on your belief system. Otherwise it won't land, because it's not yours. This is the integration and embodiment. So we have to use what's ours, what's true for us, so that it lands. Okay, today we have loosened the grip on a lot. Please be gentle with yourselves. I always say this to my clients as well. Up the water, down the caffeine. I don't know who medicates with caffeine. I did. It made me worse. Now I drink a lot of decaf. But please up your water. You may have felt watching this temperature changes within your body. You might have got hot or you might have got really cold. That's great. That's your cells going, whoosh, it's going in and releasing and releasing, you know. So we do have real somatic experiences as we are going through this work as well. Tomorrow we go deeper. I know you can't wait, can you? We go deeper. Once you know why you've been giving your energy away, how you are going to reclaim it. So, just to pull together today, we have received a lot of permission slips. We have understood that we've got hundreds of thousands of year-old neuro pathways that are trying to keep us safe. We've understood survival, and we've understood trust and safety. We've gone in with torches on our triggers, and we've understood how to timeline it back now, how to change and input new information into our bodies and into our Google brain library so that we can keep filling that up with new options so that our brain can make informed decisions as it's going safe, not safe. And it will start safe, safe. It will register more safety than more not safe. Okay, tomorrow we are diving in on getting rid of guilt. When you learn to embody all of this and accept and understand why guilt got there in the first place, how guilt arrived in your life. I've got a couple of friends who I feel so guilty. Why? Well, this. Okay, well, that's the noise. No, it's just ridiculous. I feel guilty for breathing, some of them. So how the guilt got there, same as the mask, how the guilt got there, why it's there, and a really, really quick way of getting rid of it so that we really start to reclaim our confidence. Okay, I will see you tomorrow, same time tomorrow. Day 2, this is where everything's going to start clicking now that we've got the trace back or the way back, whatever we're going to be calling it. And I will see you, my loves, tomorrow at 10 a.m. as well. And I will also be putting up into the group tomorrow the landing page, login just for the masterclass on Thursday night. Make sure you just click on the link, name, email address, you're done, your seat's booked. All right, my loves, have great days. See you tomorrow.